Well, shooters and reloaders out there, Fortune Cookie 45 LLC coming to you again from the Hot Lead Zone. And we're going to continue the video book on the 44 Special, the Versatile and Capable 44 Special. And first of all, hi to Dave Thorzax up there in the Seattle, Washington area in a town called Poulsbo. We're doing this video book together on the 44 Smith & Wesson Special because it really is a special cartridge that has been ignored and overlooked by many shooters today, but it's a great round. What you see are just some of my 44 Special brass that has been wet tumbled, and it's been like 6 months now. And you see how nice and clean those primer pockets are because we decapped the cases before we wet tumbled them, and you see how clean the inside is. Get some light in there, inside and out, and that brass looks good 6 months later and indefinitely actually. So we're going to use our wet tumbled brass. And the title of this video chapter is General Purpose Loads for the 44 Special with Powder Coated Bullets. A real good general purpose bullet for the 44 Special is a Lyman 429215, and this one is gas checked and powder coated nicely. These are semi-wad cutters that weigh 220 grains actually. Now we're also going to select this fine RCBS 240 grain silhouette bullet cast from molds that Dave Thorzak sent me. This should be a good bullet also for general purpose. Well, when you talk general purpose, the first powder you think about is unique. And so what we're going to do today is use the famous Skeeter load. 7.5 grains of unique powder with any 240 to 250 grain bullet, and that works for 215 grainers also. So there's a Hornady, it just beeped. Now we'll take this charge and calibrate it by going ahead and dumping it into the pan of our RCBS. And let's see if that looks like pretty good calibration to me. We're good. So you notice now with our press, we've gone ahead and installed the 44 Magnum 44 Special shell holder, and then we screwed in the Lee sizer die until it touches the shell holder right here. Well, that was already adjusted anyway, so now we've got the primer arms set for the large primer, and we put a primer in there. Now we go ahead and put a case in and resize it, and then go ahead and prime it. There it is. So it's primed below the case head just the way we want it. That's ready to go. So you'll note that the nice thing about doing single stage load development is that we can inspect our cases very readily. And so there they are, all primers seated properly and no bad primers, all look good. So next we unscrew the sizing die and put in the second die, which is the neck expanding, mouth flaring powder through die, but we're not going to use the powder through function since we're using our Hornady automatic powder dispenser. So here is the next die, which is a powder through die. Easy to recognize the Lee powder through neck expanding mouth flaring die because it has this aluminum hex thing on the end. So go ahead and put that in. And now we run cases into this and adjust it until we get the right flare on the case mouth. The neck expanding is automatic. Now you can feel the neck expansion, there it is, but there's no mouth flaring going on. So we go ahead and lower the die, and we keep doing this until we get the proper mouth flare. We're starting to get mouth flare. You can actually feel it, so that now we check and see we're getting flare. We need a little more though. So lower the die a little more until the lower band, the driving band, goes in. There it is. Now you want to keep the bullets handy because you want to check this mouth flare every once in a while to make sure you haven't lost it. Nothing more disconcerting than to go ahead and run 100 cases through and then check it at the end and find out that the mouth flare isn't what you want. So this way you got a in progress check. So that keeps you from having to do a lot of your work over again. And this is the last one. So always check the last one, and there you see we're good. Now, it's really nice to go ahead and charge a case and go ahead and seat the bullet right away when you're doing load development. So what I have here is the 44 Special 44 Magnum bullet seating die by Lee, but it's set up for the coax press. You can tell because this die lock rings all the way down here. So we might as well just crank it down a little bit for our single stage Lee press. Now the trick is not to get any crimping because you only want to seat bullets right now. So we go ahead and put a powder charge case with a bullet on top in the shell holder, and then the Lee bullet seating die in so that the die doesn't cause any crimping, but gives us enough adjustment with the stem to get the bullet to get to the right seating depth. And then we go ahead and adjust it by trial and error until the case mouth is right at the top of the crimping groove, and that's the seating depth we want. Go ahead and leave it at that setting. Then we go ahead and put another powder charge case. Here's the powder charge going in. Let the Hornady automatic powder dispenser go ahead and dispense another load while we take a bullet, and immediately go ahead and seat a bullet into the case that we just charged. So there you go, right there. We'll go ahead and seat 10 of those with this bullet. So here's a powder charge case. Now we've loaded 10 of these. Now we're switching to this bullet. Now the Lee factory crimp die, you simply go ahead and raise up the ram and then lower the die until the die hits the shell holder. And then you lock the die lock ring. Then you back out the crimping stem a little bit and go ahead and put in your uncrimped case, and then go ahead and lower the stem until it touches the case mouth like that. Then you back out the loaded round, and then you give it a half turn for what they call a good crimp. This is what Lee calls a good crimp. But if you want a heavier crimp, you add another quarter turn. And then you inspect to see if that's the crimp you want. And that looks pretty good. You can add more or subtract depending on what you desire. Then we go ahead and crimp all the rounds like this. We'll go ahead and do them all and then show you. So the crimps look good. We're ready to go to the range and give these 2 loads a test. 10 rounds each for 2 5-round groups. These are general purpose bullets for the 44 Special in the age of powder coating. Bye for now.